A bird in the hand is worth two in the Satan. I picked up my copy of Journey in 2015 when I was 20 years old. Since then, I have always cited it as the prime example of how video games can represent art. From the way it tells the hero's story to the engrossing visual aspects of the world it takes place in, Journey will always remain at the forefront of my mind as I make my own way through life. I am in love with this game, that I can't lie about. But when it comes to the story itself and what it means, I have some theories that make me question things that are much bigger than myself. There is no dialogue in this game, so all of the story is told through the ancestor statues at the end of every section, and the murals found along the way. And this is my interpretation of what it all means. The story follows as such. In the beginning, there was a light that beamed from atop a great mountain. From this light, a magic fell across the land. This magic gave the land all living things, the plants, the animals, and the people who would inhabit the land. The people, tall and immaculate, discovered the magical resources with wide eyes. The people started to collect this resource to feed their once humdrum civilization. With time, their empire grew in size, overtaking the land and its wildlife. But then, the resource they relied upon so much was dwindling, causing a rift amongst the people. War broke out, and from this machines were created. These machines reaped whatever was left of the magical resource. Consequentially, the people perished, leaving the machines to continue their work. Many years passed as the once great empire is swept over by the sands of time. Little of what was left of the magic returned to the skies, birthing our hero from a grain of sand. We start with our hero, the dude, for naming purposes, in the graveyard surrounded by the headstones of the long-forgotten ancestors. As the dude opens his reach to the world around him, he starts to discover the magic firsthand and what he is able to accomplish with it. Epic flying! For a second. He needs these emblems to make his scarf longer so he can have longer epic flying sessions. All throughout the game, the dude uses his calling to manipulate certain objects and liberate the resources from their holding cells while trying his best to avoid the dangers around him. The dude travels forward into the desert landscape, through the forgotten ruins of the grand cities, and down into a set of catacombs. And there, at the fourth ancestor statue, we see the folly of their past. The ancestor had its back turned away and head hung low. This is a sign of guilt, remorse, disgusted by the way his people acted. The following scene takes place in the deepest parts of the catacombs. We get a confirmation that the machines are still on guard after all this time, still scanning through, looking for any kind of magic remaining. The fifth meeting describes a sort of Ozymandias story, the sands of time overtaking the once great city the ancestors adored. But then the dude appears in the prophecy, adding another layer of depth to the already profound storyline. Through the door leading to the next room, the prophecy beset for the dude starts to become more and more apparent as each mural is met in this tall room. At the top of this room, we see the finality of the prophecy, the dude in full realization of what he must do, a confirmation that his journey so far wasn't for naught. In the following section, the dude's will is put to the test. Battered by the bruising brutality of the winter storms surrounding the great mountain. Drudging through the thick, snowy landscape, we see the familiar array of headstones littering the surroundings. They're either from the war, or from the ones who have failed to reach the top. And there, just out of reach of the final destination, the dude's valor slowly fades as his labored legs give out on him. In this moment of doubt and pain, he falls, accepting his fate. In the dude's dying breath, he is visited by the 6 ancestors, the same 6 he had met in his travels. From this, the dude is revived by their presence. And like a rocket, the dude is launched into the skies. His second wind was all he needed to break through the divide. And from this moment on, we know that the dude is in full bloom. Any pain from the journey has faded, as he flows through this section with ease and serenity. As soon as he reaches the top of the mountain, his purpose is apparent, his mission complete. It's those final steps into total ambrosia that makes the journey itself feel worth every single step. It's a riveting tale, A tale such as this is a testament to storytelling at its finest. But here's the issue that I have with this game. What does it all mean? It would be rude of me to tear apart such a lovely piece of art rather than just letting it be. But this fable has been the bane of my attention for the past 4 years, spinning back and forth from allegory to metaphor, trying to get a grasp of the roots of Journey and the secrets it holds. It should be simple, right? The dude is born. His mission is to release the captive resources and restore magic back to the land by hiking up a great mountain and dying and coming back to life and walking into the light. Is it just a metaphor for passing on, walking into the light, and transcending into the next plane of existence? Is the scene we see after the dude is launched through the clouds heaven? It's surely tranquil enough. It has a heavenly glow to it, and the dangers that have befallen the dude before are gone or have turned into a friendly presence. All the signs pointing to birth, the struggle of life, and enlightenment are there. It sounds so plausible. It would have to be the meaning. My work here should be done, right? It sure seems that way. But that would be too easy. Let's look back at a very minute little detail. The way the prophecy is shown in the last meeting is a painting on the ceiling of the tower in a circular fashion. So if we were to see the entire prophecy, take a step back and look at the entire room, we can see that it is the same mountain that the magic pours out of that the dude travels inward. Let's call this portion of the prophecy BD, before dude, and let's call this part of the prophecy AD, after dude. So if we were to piece BD and AD together, then we would have an image that looks like this. So what kind of conclusion can we draw from that little piece of evidence right there? I don't think I have it. I could be nuts. I could be completely wrong on this one. And just to reiterate, this is my interpretation of it. The dude is born from what little magic was left of the ashes of a lost civilization. Throughout his travels, he finds that his purpose is to sacrifice himself so that this world can start again. The magic pours out from the mountaintop, fertilizing the world with wildlife and, yes, the people. The people who will eventually take the magic for granted. They harvest it, abuse it, waste it, and then fight over it once the supply is gone. They all die, and the dude is born again to do it all over. The cycle never stops. The people will never learn, and the dude will always have to be the one who cleans up after them. So, what can we take from this? What can we learn from Journey? Well, in the grandest of schemes, the saying, life is about the journey and not the destination. This is true. But the journey itself is supposed to distract you from the cacophony that plagues our history and shows humanity's truest colors of being the worst conceivable thing that could have happened upon this earth, because we too never learn. History will always repeat itself, and we only have our own fallibility to blame. And I hope, in my heart of hearts, that the age that we live in will shine through the generations as an age that we finally were able to gain just enough self-awareness and just enough clarity to break this hindrance of thoughtless repetition. Time and time again falling for the same primal urges of senseless greed and causing harm upon our brothers in order to acquire such meaningless possessions. The journey of life isn't just about how you treat yourself. It should be about learning where we went wrong in the past in order to make things better for us in the future. We can paint a better tomorrow if we knew what colors not to use, or what kind of canvas works best. So I say, let us know. Let's all know. Let's not keep our past a shameful stigma that we keep hidden. Let's not hide away the things that make us look upon ourselves with discontent like these ancestors have, and recollect the same turmoil. No. Let us bask in our ignorance so that we will know better. To right the wrongdoings, and to finally set the record straight, because God knows I'm tired of listening to the damn thing skipping. Oh, oh, oh. To me, Journey is just a little bit more than a game. It's been a representation of something that I've been trying to find and to discover for a long while. And I hope you all have taken something from these statements, as I have. I know I'll be looking forward with this, and I have Journey to thank for that. At the same time, showing me the grotesque face of human nature, yet opening the door that leads to a better understanding of the world around me. And for that game company, I have you to thank. There has never been a game that I have been compelled to put myself out like this, to make me think about the things that are grander than myself. For bringing me to the lowest point that I could possibly be, shaking my head saying, where did we go wrong? And where are we going from here? To answering that question immediately afterward, up. That's where we're going.